Good morning, welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Not Ian, let's see, on Daily Double. We're doing Zeka Shabbos, Perek Zion, Mishnah Ches, and we'll start in Perek Shmini, the 8th Perek, Mishnah Aleph. Again, we're talking about Hatzah over here, continuing the discussion of not just the Malacha Hatzah, but the Shiurim that you need. You need to be motzi a certain amount of an item. We're going to talk more about that today in order to be chayav. Dalid, Hamotzi Tevin Kamlo Pipara. If you're talking about taking animal food, here the Mishnah starts talking about taking animal food. That was very common to have animals back in the day. Farmers also have animals these days. If you didn't know this, there's a lot of farmers out in the world. Amotzi Tevin Kamlo Pipara. If you take out straw, it has to be the amount that you would feed in one feeding to a cow. Atzah is considered to be a type of legume that you feed to camels. Kamlo Pigamol. That goes based on the size of the feeding you would feed for a camel. Again, straw you give to a cow. You can learn from this. If you're a farmer, you give straw to a cow. You give legumes, give beans to a camel. Amir Kamlopi Tola. Amir is, Rav says, Kashin Shel Shibolin. Again, this is the stems or the roots of Shibolim, of wheat or barley. You have the straw, which is basically the outer layer, and then you have the actual stem. The stem is given as animal fodder to sheep. Asavim kimli piyagada. Grass is given, piyagdi is given to goats. Ale shumba, ale b'tzomim lachem. Let's say you have leaves from a garlic plant or leaves from an onion plant, I guess like a scallion. Lachem kigogeres. If the leaves are moist, the shear is a gogeres. Gogeres is a general shear for human food. If it's moist, it's consumable. It's usually consumed by humans. Yaveshim, if they're dried out, then it's fat. If they're dried out, then it's used as animal fodder. It goes based on the amount that you would feed to a regular sized goat. All these shiurim that we talked about for different animals, because different animals eat different things. So I can't combine the shiurim right? Take a little bit of amir and a little bit of atzah. You can't take a little bit to combine it to the shear if one is less than a shear, because there's a big rule in Chazal that if you have different shiurim for different things, you can't be mitzdarif, because you can't compare one shear to another shear. However, because they have different shiurim. However, the Mishnah continues, for human foods, there's a lot of different foods that humans eat, right? For animals, they eat like one type of food, so that's a measurement for that type of food. However, humans eat a lot of different types of foods. That generally goes with grogeres. The Gemara ascertained that a grogeres is considered significant food for a person. So therefore, you're chayiv for taking out any food that's the size of grogeres. It doesn't have to be actual fig. A grogeres is literally a fig. And all foods combined to make a shear grogeres. Because the shear is the same, so therefore no problem combining two different foods. However, when you calculate them, you don't calculate things that normally waste products of the food. For example, the shells or the garinim, the seeds, vuksehen, or the stems that they grow on, vesubon, which is the bran, or morsanon, which is the germ, right? There's 3 parts to a wheat seed: the endosperm, the germ, and the bran. The germ and the bran are generally discarded to make white bread. The endosperm, people who like whole wheat bread. The Mishnah is telling you, you're not a normal person. Normal people discard it. They don't eat the bran. So for all those health freaks out there, I think they're better than everybody else. The Mishnayos tell you, you're not better than everybody else. That's the truth. People normally discard these things. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, even though normally klipos, the shells of any species of legumes or cereal grains, are not included, when it comes to lentils, the actual outer shell is usually cooked in the pot with them. So therefore, it is mitzdarif to the shear of ochlin. The Rabbanan argue, and they say, generally after it's cooked in the pot, they become waste, they become soft. You really discard of them before you eat it. People who have lentil soup, like Yaakov and Esav, know this better. People who don't eat lentil soup, we don't exactly know the mitzias over here, but if you ever cook lentil soup, usually we hold like the Rabbanan, the klipos are not considered to be important, and even if you do eat them, you're eating inferior food, not normal food. Hamotzi yayin, the 8th parak. Hamotzi yayin k'nei mezigas hakos. Here we're talking about taking out beverages, human beverages, ostensibly wine. Right? It's k'nei mezigas hakos, the amount you would put to mix. Right? Yayin doesn't necessarily mean just wine. It could be any yayin saruf, which is any alcohol. The amount it takes to mix in a cocktail, right? You mix a certain amount in a cocktail, a certain amount of different alcohols. You have vodka, you have rum, you have gin, you have tequila. All these things are used as mixers. It has to be the amount that you would mix, and it's not such a substantial amount. Chalav k'dei gemiyah, milk, the amount you would put for a baby in a bottle. Dvash k'dei litin ala kasis, honey, the amount you would put on a wound. Shemen tialun, shemen k'dei lasach ever katan, oil to put on one of your small avarim in order to smear it on and to properly anoint it. If you will have an idea what aver katan is, and you're thinking about one specific limb in the person, and you listen to my shiurim about living marriage, you can probably figure out which aver we're talking about over here. And yes, it is a good idea to use oil in the bedroom. Mayim, baby oil. Mayim kidei lashuf behemes hakilor. The amount of water in order to wash out the kilor. Kilor is something with your eyes. I would say it's like your contact lenses case. That amount of water, small amount. Sharkal mashkin beravias. Other liquids, other beverages like Coca-Cola, things like that. That share is a revius because that's the normal amount that a person drinks. That's a share for kiddush and things like that. Chala shofrin beravias. Any waste product, water that's waste product, like urine and things like that. That's also a revius. From Shimon Omer, Kulan beravias. Shimon argues. He says all liquids, wine, milk, everything is revius. That's the share for beverages. The reason that some of these shirim are smaller, like wine or alcohol or milk or water, are smaller shirim. These are smaller shirim than revius. Revius could be 5 ounces according to Chazon Ish, maybe according to Moshe 3.3 ounces. To wash out your contact lens case is much smaller. A small amount of vodka you put in, in Cosmopolitan or something like that, or a screwdriver. So it's not a big amount. He says, Rosh Shimon says, that you go really after every drink is a revius. That's the share for revius for beverages. Certain people for them, they enjoy having a smaller share for certain things. Meaning people who use a contact lens case, people who enjoy cocktails. Not everyone's like that. So for people that enjoy cocktails, which is not most of the world. Most of the people don't drink cocktails. So for them, it's insignificant. So you go after revius. Revius goes by rove of the people. It has to be significant. Like we learned in Mishnah Gimel in Perek Zayin, it has to be significant to you, but it has sentimental value to you. So only for you, you're chayav. But most people go based on what rove people do, and most of beverages are drunk in the share of revius. We'll talk more about the shita of Reb Shimon and Ian Mitzion coming up next.